seated. Your Excellency, the Ambassador of the Republic of Liberia to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, heads of ministries, departments, and agencies here present, the Director General, State Services, as ably represented, NISS Commandant, DSS National and State Directors here present, eminent faculty members of NISS, distinguished and graduating participants of Executive Intelligence Management Course 12, gentlemen of the fourth realm of the estate, invited guests, other members of the NISS community, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. You are all most welcome to the graduation lecture of the Executive Intelligence Management Course 12, taking place today at the Alhaji Sarkil Mukhtar Auditorium of the National Institute for Security Studies, Buhari, Abuja. The title of the lecture is Integration, Peace and Security in Africa, Challenges and Prospects. My name is Winifred Chukwudi Eliku, FSI. I am a directing staff in the Institute, and I am most delighted.
Television Authority, NTA, we want to sincerely welcome you to the live telecast of the graduation lecture of the National Institute for Security Studies for the participants of the Executive Intelligence Management Course EIMC 12, Class of 2019. It will be delivered by His Excellency Ambassador Hassan Conte, the Liberian Ambassador to Nigeria, with the title Integration, Peace and Security in Africa, Challenges and Prospects. Some of the top brass of the security and intelligence community in Nigeria are here in attendance. My name is Kelvin Ewonwaye. Welcome you once again to this live telecast.
His Excellency is the Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the Republic of Liberia to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, with concurrent accreditation to the Republics of Benin and Equatorial Guinea. You are most welcome, Your Excellency. We also acknowledge with great joy the presence of Mrs. Folashade Adekayoja, FSI Daga, representing the Director General of State Services and Chairman Board of Directors, NISS. We appreciate your presence, Ma, and we thank the DGSS for his visionary leadership. Also seated on the high table is Alhaji A.S. Adeleke, FSI MNI, the amiable Commandant of the National Institute for Security Studies. We acknowledge and appreciate you, sir. We also have we are also honored to have on the high table Patricia Zebigi, representing the South African High Commissioner in Nigeria. You're most welcome. Also on the high table, we have Major General S.A. Adebayo, MSS, PSC, FEDENA, MSc, CMH. You're most welcome. General Adebayo is the Chief of Military Intelligence, and he is representing the Chief of Army Staff. Welcome. Also on the high table, we have Commandant A.E. Abasi, PAC Daga. He is representing Commandant General, NSCDC. May I seek the permission of the high table to reduce the salutes so that we can go through the list, saving more time. Yes, I think I have that permission. So we go on with the recognitions. We have Deputy Controller Chima DN, representing Controller General of Nigerian Customs Service. We also have Mr. Stephen Eshumobi, FSI, Director Enforcement, Pharmacists Council of Nigeria, representing the Registrar. Also, we have Rear Admiral S.K. Ibrahim, FSS, PSC, DSS, Fellow War College, representing the Chief of Naval Staff. We also have ACM Angus Obum Ibezim, FSI, JP KSC, representing FRSC Corps Marshal. And we have Mrs. C.W. Adepoju, FSI, Assistant Controller General of Immigration, representing the CG Nigerian Immigration Service. And we also have Olayinka Balogun, CP retired, FSI. He is the President of the Association of All Fellows of Security Intelligence. You're most welcome, sir. The guest speaker, sir, and other distinguished dignitaries seated among the audience before you this morning are faculty members and 63 graduating distinguished participants of EIMC 12 of NISS. The course participants are drawn from 21 organizations in Nigeria, comprising the military, intelligence, security, paramilitary, law enforcement, regulatory, and other federal government strategic agencies. We also have a participant from Ghana. They are of the rank of Deputy Director and its equivalent. The theme for EIMC 12 is Transhumance and International Migration, Challenges of Good Governance, Peace, and Sustainable Development in Sub-Saharan Africa. The purpose of the course is to impact required knowledge that can improve synergy among the participants and also help them to address the ever-dynamic security challenges facing the world we live in today. With the kind permission of members of the high table, I will now call on the participants to introduce themselves, starting from the MG, after which I will introduce faculty members. MG, please.
Enoch David Power, DSS. Abdulkadir Salman, Nigerian Correctional Service.
Abubakar Adegwale Sanusi from DSS.
Duhu Muhammad from Petroleum Equalization Fund Management Board.
Paul Guar, Federal Road Safety Corps. Opeleko Baba Samuel, DSS.
Johnny Maxwell Ni Ashe, National Security Council Secretariat, Ghana.
James Adagba, DSS.
Mary Mafiana, Nigerian Immigration Service.
Godwin Ometo, DSS. Usman Umar, Nigerian Air Force.
Tijani Salah, DSS.
Robert Clement, Nigerian Police Force.
Victor Olusola, DSS. Babatunde Olomo, Nigerian Customs Service.
Akinkumi Oladipo, DSS.
Yalwadio Dauda, Federal Road Safety Corps.
Steve Olufemi Ojelade, DSS.
Ibrahim Shazali, EFCC.
Sambo Habu Rabiu, DSS.
Onye Vincent Chukwudi, Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria. Chidi Okoha, DSS.
AK Chikere, AK Nigerian Correctional Service.
Yehuda Muhammad Gaya, Nigeria Customs Service.
Umar Bala Muhammad, Nigerian Ports Authority.
Haruna Bala Abdullahi, DSS.
Yusuf Usman Diri, Nigerian Army.
Julius Ode, DSS.
Olukemi Alabi, Pharmacist Council of Nigeria.
Virginia Akpa, DSS.
Afolayan Ayeni, Nigeria Immigration Service.
Deima Abibo, Nigeria Police Force.
David Aselemi Abi, Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, Syndicate 3.
Usman Alayinka Aluko, DSS.
Jerry Ayimodu, Nigerian Navy.
Awal Yusuf, NNPC.
Famakinde Aderonke Abigail, DSS.
Shaulu Ebenezer Damaman, Nigerian Police Force.
Ishaku Magayaki, DSS.
Isaac Olufemi Shotayo, DSS.
Hassan Yusuf, Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria.
Patricia Amechi Nwachukwu, Petroleum Equalization Fund Management Board.
DSS.
Stephen Zwalkurlar, Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps.
Said Audu Bajo, Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
Baba Shani Umar San, EFCC.
Kenneth Ozochi, DSS.
Omar Mohammed Tukur, Nigeria Immigration Service.
Adebimpe Matthew Olubokun, DSS.
Vincent Idike, National Assembly.
Sabo Abubakar, DSS.
Justin Bartholomew Nikaf, Standards Organization of Nigeria.
Iluyomade Martins, I'm from NAFDAC.
Thank you very much, participants. Leading the faculty this afternoon is the Commandant of the Institute, Alhaji A.S. Adeleke, FSI, MNI. He's assisted by 3 directors. We have the Director of Studies, Dr. A.M. Wali, FSI. We have the Director Admin, Mrs. Ngozi Onyemuchara, FSI. We also have the Director Technical, Mr. Andrew Kuyaha, FSI. Other faculty members are OK Okpaola, FSI, AI Olesheni, FSI, Dr. A.A. Karim, FSI, S.F. Caleb, he's somewhere around, FSI. We also have Professor M.O. Madwagu, Professor M. Abutudu, Professor Saleh Dauda, Professor A. Ikelebe, Ambassador Dr. A.B. Magaji, FWC, Professor M.U. Adiku, Professor Emeritus Amadou Sise. We also have E.E. Oyeyele, FSI, Nuhu Umar, FSI, J. Kure, FSI, Gani Danyaya, FSI, Nka Obi Bisong, a research fellow, Dr. A.O. Karim, another research fellow, T.O. Fashola, another research fellow, E.D. Ugu, another research fellow, and we have the academics record officer, V.G. Joshua. Having concluded the recognitions, of course, every other person here, you are recognized. Please join me with a round of applause as I humbly invite the Commandant of the Institute, Alhaji A.S. Adeleke, FSI, MNI, to give his address. Commandant, sir.
Your Excellency, the guest speaker for today, head of ministries, departments, and agencies, representatives of all security agencies here present, the National Headquarters Director of DSS, eminent faculty members, distinguished participants of EIMC 12, gentlemen of the press, invited guests, other members of the NISS community, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. This year, 2019, has been an eventful and remarkable in the history of the erstwhile ISS, now National Institute for Security Studies. We have had a plethora of high-profile events which clamors with the signing into law of the National Institute for Security Studies Establishment Act 2019 by the President, Commander-in-Chief of Nigerian Armed Forces, President Muhammadu Buhari, GSS. Also, for the first time in the history of the Institute, we have a participant from Republic of Ghana. The great achievement, as well as the successful completion of EIMC 12, speaks to the tireless effort of our determined, passionate, and supportive leader, Alhaji Yusuf Bangaji Bichi, FWC, the DGSS, whose unvarying commitments has battered the enviable position of NISS today. I humbly request that the DG's representative, Fola Shadia Dekaroja FSI, to convey the appreciation to him with the message that the Department of State Services is happy to have him as one of our staff, and the National Institute appreciate him immensely. We are indeed very honored and privileged to have the guest speaker of the EIMC 12 graduation lecture, a diplomat, an academic of international repute, an expert in conflict prevention, mitigation and resolution, His Excellency Ambassador Dr. Alassane Conte. He is the ambassador of the Federal Republic of Liberia in Nigeria with concurrent accreditation to the Republic of Benin and Equatorial Guinea. It may interest you to note that His Excellency chaired the ECOWAS Mediation and Security Council at the ambassadorial level in 2017. He is also a reliable friend of the Institute. Your Excellency, sir, we are honored to have you, and we hope to have participants from Liberia in subsequent executive intelligence management course. In 2017, this institute made history when, for the first time, a former head of a country government delivered EIMC 10 graduation lecture. We had planned and hoped to set a new record this year by having the incumbent and distinguished and intelligent and open-minded president to deliver the EIMC 12 graduation lecture. We have concluded all arrangements to have His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the President of the Federal Republic of Ghana, here with us as the guest lecturer. As you can see from the banner and program, but man proposes and sometimes God disposes. Just last night, we were informed that the President will no longer be able to make the event. Let me use this opportunity to express our profound and immense gratitude to His Excellency Ambassador Conte, who was earlier scheduled to be the chairman of the event, for accepting at a very short notice to step in and deliver the graduation lecture. Your Excellency, NHISS appreciates and value your understanding and assistance in making sure the graduation lecture is successful. We also appreciate you for the bonding cordial relationship between the Liberia Embassy in Abuja under your watch, Nigeria and National Institute for Security Studies. To the audience, we rest assured that Your Excellency is in a very good position to do justice to today's topic, which is integration, peace, and security in Africa, challenges and prospects. Peace and security are essential ingredients for regional integration because they continue to pose a major challenge in Africa and other parts of the world. The 2018 African Union Summit was overwhelmed by peace and security issues. Conflict patterns in the continent, particularly when it comes to terrorism, have changed rapidly in recent years. This means the African countries have had to respond to a highly complex and dynamic environment to achieve peace. In the face of Africa's multiple security threats, integration and regionalization endeavors are increasingly and seems as providing opportunity for establishing sustainable economic growth, peace, and stability. This informed the choice of this topic. And so for our graduating participants and invited guests, I hope that you'll be inspired by the lecture, bearing in mind always there is strength in unity. I thank you very much for your rapt attention. Good morning.
Thank you very much, Commandant, sir. Before we continue, permit me to recognize the presence of some national directors of the Department of State Services. We have Olufunke Amos, FSI, MNI. You're welcome, ma'am. We also have DGSS Egbeji, I'm very sorry, sir. FSI, FDC. Another national director here is Phillips Gangas, MSI. We also have Abba Adams, FSI, FDC. The last but definitely not the least is M. Yao, FMSI. You're all most welcome, sirs. The next item on the program is the DGSS address, which will be delivered by his representative, Mrs. Folashade Adekayoja, FSI. She is the Director Training. May I therefore request the audience to join me again, because that applause probably was for me. This time with a resounding applause as I most respectfully welcome her to the podium. Thank you very much. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency, the Ambassador of Republic of Liberia to Federal Republic of Nigeria, heads of ministries and agencies here present, representatives of the heads of agencies here present, Commandant of NISS, DSS National Directors here present, the eminent faculty members, distinguished and graduating participants of EIMC 12, and the entire NISS community. Ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome. It is my privilege and pleasure to welcome you on behalf of the Director General, State Services, Yusuf Magaji-Bichi, FWC, to another epoch-making event in the graduation lecture of EIMC 12, which is a very important event in the academic calendar of the Institute. It is with deep sense of appreciation of God Almighty and the pleasure of God that we welcome you to this lecture. In particular, I will want to register our appreciation to the chairman of the occasion, and who is the guest speaker, the Liberian Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary, Dr. Al-Hassan Conte, for kindly accepting our invitation, and also for agreeing to deliver the graduation lecture despite the short notice. Thank you very much. This edition of the Executive Intelligence Management course is most remarkably very lucky, as this year coincides with the cumulative years of efforts in upgrading the institute from the Institute for Security Study to National Institute for Security Study. And this is the first of its kind in Africa, and additionally, having international participants. Every year, the graduation lecture focuses on very important and critical aspects of Nigerian security. And this year's lecture is Integration, Peace and Security in Africa, Challenges and Prospects. The choice of this theme, I know you will agree with me, is apt. I'll invite you all to listen with rapt attention as our guest speaker shares his thoughts on these issues. Mr. Chairman, sir, invited guests, eminent faculty members, EIMC 12 participants, the entire NISS community, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you all for honoring our invitation. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ma, for representing the DGSS very well. Before we go on, please permit me to recognize the presence of Deputy Controller Correction, Henry Onyenze, who is representing the Controller General, Nigeria Correction Service. It is now time for the graduation lecture presentation. A quick reminder here that the topic of the lecture is Integration, Peace and Security in Africa, Challenges and Prospects. First, the profile of the guest lecturer. Your Excellency, the guest speaker, sir, kindly permit me to read a seriously abridged version of your profile with emphasis on seriously. Thank you, sir. His Excellency Ambassador Al-Hassan Conte, PhD, is the Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the Republic of Liberia to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, with concurrent accreditation to the Republics of Benin and Equatorial Guinea. He is also Liberia's permanent representative to Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS. Education. Ambassador Conte holds a Bachelor of Arts degree in Geography and Demography from the University of Liberia. He also holds a Master of Arts degree in Demography from the University of Pennsylvania. He holds a Master of Philosophy degree in Demography from the United Nations Demographic Center, Cairo, Egypt, and a Doctor of Philosophy degree in Regional Science and Demography also from the University of Pennsylvania. Ambassador Conte is a specialist in university administration and management, conflict management and transformation, quantitative and qualitative research methods, grant proposal writing and administration, to mention but a few. The erudite diplomat since 2018 has been a co-chair the International Advisory Board Africa Peace Fellows Program at the Center for African Peace and Conflict Resolution, California State University. He chaired ECOWAS Mediation and Security Council at the ambassadorial level in 2017. He was a member of the delegation of the head mission, ECOWAS Observer Mission, to Nigeria's presidential elections of 2015 and 2019. He is the current Deputy Dean, Diplomatic Corps of Nigeria, and the African Diplomatic Group of Nigeria. Please join me with a resounding applause, a standing ovation, as I most humbly and respectfully welcome His Excellency to deliver the lecture.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Please be seated. The heads of ministries, departments, and agencies here present, the Director General of State Services, ably represented by my sister, the NISS Commandant, eminent faculty members of NIS, distinguished and graduating participants of EIMC 12, gentlemen of the realm, of the fourth realm of estate, invited guests, other members of the NIS community, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Before I start, let me tell you a brief joke about the anchor, which I'm sure she's not expecting. She sent me an email last night. Well, actually, it was a text message to say that she needed my email to send me my profile. So, with some degree of gender bias, I replied, "My dear brother," as I always do in my emails. And of course, I didn't hear from her, and now I understand why. So I want to apologize. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'm very honored and pleased. I'm very honored and pleased to deliver this graduation lecture on the topic Integration, Peace and Security in Africa, Issues, Challenges, and Prospects. This topic is related to the general theme which has been identified for the Executive Intelligence Management Course 12 on transhumance and international migration, challenges of governance, peace, and sustainable development in Africa. The main proposition of the lecture is that African states should pursue regional integration as an optimal strategy based on the economy of scale in trade and joint action against the internal and external threats to their individual peace and security. Integration, therefore, amalgamates member states into trading blocs that remove tariff and non-tariff barriers, thereby affording them an opportunity jointly to address enduring and contemporary challenges to their peace and security, including, of course, the two that you have identified for this lecture, migration and transhumance. Consequently, regionalism affords the application of protocols and agreements that promote the development aspirations that are aligned to internationally agreed goals, including the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals. Examples of regional integration agreements and some regional processes that address peace and security affecting international migration and transhumance are cited. In this context, recent political changes in the world system have implications for the various regional blocs of the world, including those in sub-Saharan Africa, with particular reference to ECOWAS and how they integrate to attain political, social, and economic benefits of their community citizens while pursuing sustainable economic growth and development. In view of these issues of regional integration affecting peace and security in Africa, indices based on social, economic, political, and related data from a variety of credible international sources can be used to give a summary picture on how Africa as a region and its states have fared in good governance, security, and sustainable development. Before addressing this point, let me briefly clarify the various concepts central to the general theme of the topic of this lecture. Regional integration will be defined as one of my colleagues, Professor Ladan of Ahmadu Bello University, borrowed this from this definition, as the modern processes of amalgamation, of fusion, of bringing together of two or more sovereign entities within a given global continental geographic zone into one unit for the greater or enhanced protection and promotion of their economic, political, social, cultural, or legal priorities. For the purpose of this lecture, also, Albert Einstein's conception of peace is paraphrased to mean not merely the absence of war, but the presence of justice, law, and governance. The operationalization of peace should therefore include systems that cause its emergence, such as good governance. And here, governance may be defined as the exercise of political, economic, and administrative authority to manage a nation's affairs. It is the complex mechanisms, processes, institutions through which citizens and groups articulate their interests, exercise their legal rights and obligations, and mediate their differences. And governance requires three types of accountability. I don't know if that picture is not too large enough for you to see, but there's what is called horizontal accountability, which refers to the classical tripartite division of state power between the three branches of government, as well as a range of other public entities, often called special agencies of restraint or watchdogs, created to check the abuse or efficiencies of the state. And then you have what is called vertical accountability, which denotes the chain of institutions and processes that link the elected ruler to its electorate and citizens. It includes citizens acting through the electoral process, or indirectly via civic organization and the media. Vertical accountability denotes the chain of institutions and processes that link. I've already said that. The center accountability is imposed by external agents such as donors and financial institutions. Now, in this context, security may be conceived as freedom from or resilience against potential harm from external forces, and the beneficiaries of securities are persons and social groups, objects and institutions, ecosystems, and any other entity or phenomenon vulnerable to unwanted change by its environment. And sustainable development was first defined in the Brundtland Report as development that meets the needs and aspirations of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. The Sustainable Development Goals are regarded as the organizing principle for sustaining finite resources necessary to provide for the needs of future generations on this planet. They are a collection of 17 global goals set by the United Nations General Assembly in 2015 to transform the world by 2030. The 17 goals have 169 targets to achieve, to include social and economic development, poverty, hunger, health, education, global warming, gender equality, water, sanitation, energy, urbanization, environment, and social justice. Migration is the movement of a person or group of persons either across an international border or within a state. It is a population movement encompassing any kind of movement of people, whatever its length, composition, and causes. It includes migration of refugees, displaced persons, economic migrants, and persons moving for other purposes, including family reunification. Transhumance is a type of pastoralism or nomadism with a seasonal movement of livestock between fixed seasonal pastures. Generally, the herds travel with a certain number of people necessary to tend them. Transhumance is also susceptible to climatic, economic, and political changes. Bringing together the above concepts under a single rubric, democracy is now the most widely accepted form of governance in Africa. Its endurance is commendable due to the many challenges of terrorism, civil wars, which stifles participation and access of people to the opportunities of development. For example, the 2018 Ibrahim Index, the Mo Ibrahim Index of Africa Governance, reveals that over the last decade, which has been one of economic growth for the continent, Africa's average progress in sustainable economic opportunity for its citizens has been nearly non-existent. The 2017 Sustainable Economic Opportunity African average score was 44.8, which is barely higher than in 2008, 10 years, the past 10 years, by only 0.1 points, an increase of 0.2%. Whilst Africa GDP grew by 39.7% over the same period. Almost half, 43.2%, of Africa's citizens live in one of the 25 countries where sustainable economic opportunity has declined in the past 10 years. Many African governments, according to this index, seem to have failed to translate economic wealth into sustainable economic opportunity for their citizens. Although there are recorded setbacks to democratic governance in some African states, many African countries, including Nigeria, have stayed the course of free, fair, and peaceful multi-party elections. As many as 40 of the 54 African states have conducted regular multi-party elections and are at various stages in the development of competitive politics and democratic governance. Many African states are now including integration, peace, and security as part of their development plans to achieve democratic governance and security as panaceas for sustainable development. For example, about 3 out of 4 Africans, 71.6%, live in states with improved governance performance between 2008 and 2017. Kenya, Morocco, and Cote d'Ivoire are often cited as standing out in this respect. However, 1 in 4 Africans, 27.2%, reside in states with declined governance during the same period. Regarding peace and security, development planning, 2 examples can be cited. Development planning in Nigeria and Liberia can be cited as comparative examples. The administration of President Muhammadu Buhari launched the Economic Recovery and Growth Plan, the ERGP, in 2017 to 2020 to restore economic growth in order to provide for peace and security of the Nigerian people. According to the plan, the government will remove bottlenecks that impede innovation and market-based solutions. It focuses on science, technology, and innovation, STI, to build a knowledge-based economy consistent with the aspirations of the Sustainable Development Goals, targeting its 3 dimensions of economic, social, and environmental sustainability. Similarly, the current administration of President George Weah of Liberia has enunciated what is called the Pro-Poor Agenda for Prosperity and Development, PAPD, that puts peace and security of the Liberian people at the center of the development in sync with the SDGs. The goals are to build more capable and trusted state institutions that will lead a stable, resilient, and inclusive nation embracing its triple heritage and anchored on its African identity. It provides for greater income security to an additional 1 million Liberians in order to reduce absolute poverty by 23% across 5 of the 6 regions of Liberia, with sustained and inclusive economic growth accompanied by increased investments in agriculture, infrastructure, human resource development, and social protection. Such plans by African states to create peace and security-centered development are also consistent with the development principles of the African Union and ECOWAS, including the 2007 AU African Charter on Democracy, Elections and Governance, the 2014 AU Charter on the Values and Principles of Decentralization, Local Governance, and Local Development, and the 2001 ECOWAS Supplementary Protocol on Democracy and Good Governance. However, some serious challenges remain. According to the seminal work of a book that I recently read, titled Making Africa Work by the former President Obasanjo and other scholars. The fundamental challenge to addressing peace and security in Africa include the improvement of African economies to develop structures and incentives that promote private sector growth and the enrichment of the population. Democratic systems are more suited to address peace and security issues by enriching whole societies because they are driven by the voters and their interests. The empirical evidence which they provide shows that democracies tend to grow better, and it is the accountability of the institutions, the kinds of accountability that was presented in that diagram that we showed earlier, which are the hallmarks of democracy, and they promote both political participation and good economic governance. Yet, democratic process and even consolidation appears to have stalled or even gone backwards in some parts of the continent, thereby affecting peace and security. Empirical findings from this cited study also showed that despite the challenge of building institutional democracies and the uneven progress in this domain across the continent, 70% of Africans in 34 countries surveyed preferred democracy to other kinds of government. The number of African electoral democracies increased from just 2 in 1980 to more than 40 a quarter of a century later. Democratic governance thrives when peace and security are ensured. Global security today is no longer the exclusive preserve of the threat of nuclear proliferation. Destroying weapons of mass destruction, ridding the world of terrorism, preventing civil wars, fueled by the proliferation of small arms and light weapons, and stamping out extreme poverty, addressing climate change, environmental degradation, infectious and parasitic diseases, and migration and transhumance are some of the current issues prevailing in Africa that also threaten security. Africa is also threatened by the emergence of non-state actors, terrorist groups like Boko Haram, Al-Shabaab, creating havoc in West Africa, West and East Africa respectively. The emergence of a group calling itself IS has posed serious threats in the Middle East, partly because of civil wars in Syria and Iraq. The Crimea region conflict in Ukraine threw East-West deterrent in jeopardy. These conflicts have also had implications for peace and security in Africa because of the linkages in our highly globalized world of today. Fortunately, the search for sustainable solutions are not far-fetched. In this respect, regional integration is important in mobilizing the security architecture and financial resources of states under regional integration agreements, RIAs, to formulate the coordinating mechanism and clear plans that implement effective bilateral and multilateral measures to promote global security. To make the regional integration sustainable, the joint venture principles in ratified protocols by member states have been applied to foster partnership for security. They have required a new spirit of solidarity, cooperation, mutual accountability based on a common understanding of our shared humanity underpinning mutual respect and mutual benefit in an increasing multipolar world. This partnership has involved member states, but also have included, if you consider the new vision of ECOWAS, ordinary people living in poverty, those with disabilities, women, civil society, and indigenous and local communities, and traditionally marginalized groups, multilateral institutions, local and national government, the business community, academia, and private philanthropy. In this respect, ECOWAS development integration activities can be cited as a very important regional integration agreement, which is very diverse in scope and implementation. ECOWAS norms have been used effectively to harmonize peace and security activities across member states using various strategies, including the development of supplementary protocols, directives and decisions of heads of states, training harmonization and training through harmonization and validation of various documents. The targeted sectors have included trade, energy, infrastructure, agriculture, and water resources, information, communication, and technology, civil society, political affairs, peace, and security. ECOWAS institutions work with member states and development partners to address peace and security issues under various negotiation agreements. Some of these key partners and donors include the African Development Bank, the West African Economic Monetary Union, UMOA, the World Bank, the European Union, under its European Development Fund, EDF, the United States Agency for International Development, German cooperation, Spain, and Brazil, to name a few. Thank you. Thank you. Two recent examples of concrete partnership for peace and security are the development of the ECOWAS mediation guidelines, the dialogue and the mediation curriculum, and the ECOWAS conflict prevention frameworks action plans for 2018-2020. ECOWAS launched the first two in collaboration with the Crisis Management Initiative on May 24, 2018 in Abuja. The last one was developed through the support of the EU to the ECOWAS Peace and Security and Stability Mandate, the so-called EU ECOWAS PSS, and the Danish International Development Agency, DANIDA. They were launched on January 28, 2019 in Abuja. The ECPF action plans are the coordinated conflict prevention approach of the ECOWAS Commission based on 15 components designed to fast-track regional integration and consolidate peace, security, and stability in the sub-region. The 15 components are early warning, preventive diplomacy, democracy, political governance, human rights and the rule of law, media, natural resource governance, cross-border initiatives, security and governance, practical disarmament, women, peace and security, youth empowerment, the ECOWAS Standby Force, humanitarian assistance, peace education, and other enabling mechanisms. The ECOWAS Revised Treaty of 1993 addresses the challenges and emerging conflicts in the sub-region. ECOWAS now maintain political and social stability in the region as crucial ingredients of building sustainable growth and development as complements of regional economic integration. The relevant tools for addressing these are the protocol relating to the mechanism for conflict prevention, management, resolution, peacekeeping, and security of 1999, as well as the supplementary protocol on good governance and ECOWAS conflict prevention framework. These protocols are part of ECOWAS peace and governance architecture, which have been good tools in addressing regional integration. They are based on the principle that regional cooperation among member states remains the only practical alternative to guarantee peace, regional integration, and development, knowing that insecurity in any part of the region is an obstacle to peace and development for the rest of the region. Also, from my experience, ECOWAS peace, political affairs, peace and security institutions, including the ambassadors, the ministers, up to the heads of state level, annually review mediation, security, and fiscal matters affecting the region to address violent extremism in order to focus on long-term development responses that address the prevalence of acute poverty, political and economic marginalization, corruption, and bad governance. With respect to the issue of transhumance, which has been identified in the theme for this lecture, ECOWAS also undertakes periodic initiatives to foster peaceful coexistence between herders and farmers throughout the region. This includes appropriate measures aimed at addressing the underlying causes of herder-farmer conflicts. For example, land and water issues, rural land management, and climate change. Member states are now working out the necessary modalities to accelerate the implementation of the ECOWAS Strategic Action Plan for the development and transformation of livestock in the ECOWAS region. And the target is, this has been going on since 2011 and will end in 2020, against the backdrop of developing a broad national livestock policy consistent with the ECOWAS plan. In this context, plans are put in place to address transhumance, particularly with regards to the issuance of transhumance certificates, animal disease control mechanisms, the sharing of information and with pastoralists and herd movements along the designated corridors in the Sahel. Transhumance has been practiced, as you know, in the Sahel region for centuries. It has been an integrating factor. In fact, it has been an integrating factor in West Africa by mixing North and South populations and by supplying cities with animal products. It is currently confronted with problems of climate change and environmental degradation. A 2012 study by the Food and Agricultural Organization and the United Nations in collaboration with ECOWAS found the following challenges: the reduction in available forage, changes in the composition of grass species with occasional appearance of non-communicable species, a reduction of surface water resources and quality, reduced grazing areas, mainly because of population growth, less complementarities between crop farmers and livestock producers. In addition, there is an increased incursion into protected areas through the development of agro-pastoralism. A change in the epidemiological map with the onset of diseases and increased activities of mining, leading to reduced grazing areas. Most sub-regional and regional institutions of ECOWAS and other partners also consider that cross-border transhumance is useful in preserving and increasing the production of livestock, and various arrangements have been made for better production and better utilization of pastoral resources. Regarding international migration, in 2006, the Euro-African Dialogue on Migration and Development, which is called the Rabat process, was launched to address the rising number of migrants crossing the Straits of Gibraltar to reach the Canary Islands, which is the gateway to Europe. The idea that this should not exclusively be the responsibility of Morocco and Spain, but to include willing partners, especially countries of origin of these migrants, transit and destination, affected the migration routes linking Central, West, and Northern Africa with Europe. That is how currently France, Morocco, Senegal, and Spain have taken the initiative to establish the so-called Rabat process. ECOWAS has also developed a common approach to migration since 2007, based on the outcomes of high-level meetings and discussions. The approach is based on 5 key principles: free movement within ECOWAS, legal migration, combating human trafficking, the harmonization of policies, protection of the rights of migrants, asylum seekers and refugees, and recognizing the gender dimension of migration. ECOWAS and the UNHCR also collaborate regularly in implementing their respective mixed migration strategies in collaboration of national, regional, and international institutions. In conclusion, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I have tried to show in these notes that I'm sharing with you that concrete efforts are being made by regional integration agreements in addressing peace and security for sustainable development in Africa. For this to thrive, democratic governance is implemented by putting together, by putting people at the center of development efforts and aligning development institutions with internationally agreed goals, including the SDGs. Various tools, including ECOWAS and AU protocols and agreements, should continue to be applied in collaboration with international partners to affect the regional challenges that you have identified in this course, including terrorism, international migration, conflict, and transhumance. Generally, empirical studies have shown that while democratic governance has improved in most African states, sustainable economic opportunities stalled between 2008 and 2017 due to the inability of many African governments to translate economic wealth into sustainable economic opportunity for their citizens. For peace and security to be sustainable in Africa, African states should complement their constitutional mandates to achieve security for their citizens by collaborating with regional integration organizations, the international community, and civil society to combat the threats to national and regional security due to the scarce resources at their disposal. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Thank you. For that informative, articulate, brilliant, eloquent, interesting, remarkable, and fantastic lecture. Thank you. Yes, His Excellency sure deserves another round of applause. Thank you for being here. Before we continue, let me first apologize for the technical hitch that came up while His Excellency was delivering his lecture. We apologize. I also
You are on. You are still on to the live telecast of the graduate course for EMIC 12 class of 2019 of the NSSS here in Abuja. We just listened to a lecture delivered by the Liberian ambassador to Nigeria, Dr. Ahassan Conte, who spoke on the issue of security and integration for sub-Saharan Africa. The participants and the graduates are 63 in numbers. They have been trained in transhuman and international migration, challenges for governance, peace, and sustainable development in the sub-region.
I'm very sorry. I will come back with the right name. Please pardon me. Still in appreciation of a good lecture, I humbly invite Madam Funke Amos, FSI, MNI, the DSS Director for the National Assembly, to present a souvenir to our guest lecturer. May I enjoin His Excellency to please once again step out and receive our little token. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sister.
I understand we have two souvenirs. One from the DGSS, who is also the board chairman of NISS. We'll go with the DGSS first. And then the second souvenir is from the Commandant and other NISS community members. Ma.
Your Excellency, on behalf of the Director General State Services, Yusuf Magajibichi, Fellow of the War College, would like to give you this little token in appreciation of the eloquently presented and elaborate lecture that you've given to us this afternoon. We want to say that we appreciate your coming, even at this short notice, and you were able to give us this well-packaged presentation. Thank you very much for coming. God bless you. From the Commandant. This is from the Commandant of the National Institute for Security Studies. We want to say we thank you very much. We appreciate your coming. God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ma. Thank you, Your Excellency. While that presentation was going on, we have some publications of the Institute being distributed to members on the high table. We appreciate their support for the guest lecturer today. As we gradually draw close to the end of today's program, it is time for a vote of thanks. And to do justice to this, I invite the Deputy Monitor General of EIMC 12, in the person of Kemi Alabi of the Pharmacists Council of Nigeria. While we are waiting for Kemi to step up, a quick reminder here that Saturday, the 2nd November of 2019, is the graduation ceremony for EIMC 12. You are all cordially invited, and we look forward to having you. Kemi, please.
Thank you, Ma. Your Excellency, the Ambassador of the Republic of Nigeria to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the Ambassador of the Republic of Liberia to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Ambassador Dr. Hassan Conte. Please permit me to stand to adopt all the existing protocols. Sir, my name is Olukemi Alabi of Pharmacists Council of Nigeria. I am privileged to have been called upon to propose this vote of thanks on this great occasion. Sir, on behalf of the Commandant of the Institute, National Institute for Security Studies, eminent faculty members, distinguished course participants, and the entire NISS community, I want to express our heartfelt gratitude for His Excellency for gracing this occasion and for sharing with us your wealth of knowledge. Sir, we are very grateful. God bless you, sir. I also want to thank the DGSS, ably represented by Madam Shade Adekaya Oja, for making it and for being here to come and witness this great occasion. And also to all the National Headquarters Director, we are grateful for coming and witness to be part of this great occasion. Thank you very much, sirs and ma. And also to all the other dignitaries, all the heads of ministries and agencies that are here, and all those that are also presenting ministries and agencies. We are very grateful to have you around. We want to express our deep appreciation for coming. Thank you very much. And also to all the Civil Defense Band thank you for gracing this occasion. We appreciate you. For all the other audience and other invited, the press crew, the technical crew, and every other person that has made this graduating lecture a success. We are grateful. God bless you all. We wish you all journey mercy back to your destination. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you, Kenny. We'll stand now for the national anthems. National anthem, please. And all dignitaries, a special will be hosted by the Commandant. Others will also be hosted.
It's been the graduation lecture for participants of the Executive Intelligence Management Course 12, 2019. The 63 participants who are now proud graduates of the Executive Intelligence Management Course, otherwise known as Class of 2019, were drawn from all the security and intelligence agencies, paramilitary agencies, as well as allied services. They've all gone through training in transhuman and international migration, challenges for governance, peace, and sustainable development in sub-Saharan Africa. This course topic was selected by the NISS in the light of the prevailing migration and refugee challenges around the globe.
No camera should be off. We are still on.
It also focused on peace and security in the sub-region. The NSS has now equipped the 63 participants with the needed skills and specialty to improve on how each of the organization will respond to these challenges that they face, with the ultimate goal of ensuring sustainable development in Africa. That's where we wrap it up on this live telecast. Thanks for being part of it. My name is Kelvin.